Reggae's here. How you going? Excuse the sunnies, but it's going to get glary in a second because it's that time of the afternoon. Where are we up to? Here we are with yet another project, because I've got a few projects just about finished, and we just thought we'd get this one to what we call the first stage. So get it blasted and epoxied, and then we can assess what metalwork needs to go into it. So, so the plan is to do just that, and we've got it blasted, picked it up just before, only a matter of hours ago. So history of this one. Well, this one belongs to, I can lift them up when I'm facing this way. A lovely lady by the name of, well, her business is called The Naked Florist down in Newcastle area. So she's pretty well known in that circle. So yeah, great business she got going there. And she's had this van for a long time. And what happened is I think relatives or someone she knew thought they'd start the restoration off, and unfortunately it just sort of stalled. And once I show you around, maybe it was a good thing it did stall. But anyway, so we picked up the van. All the panels, no, the panels weren't on it. So we picked up the van and brought it back up here, which is, you know, just around the corner, 8 hours drive. And it has been sitting a while, but we've just been working out the best way of tackling it. Here is a prime example of what our sandblaster does. So you can see that any area that's not that easy to sand is all blasted. So now, I'm not going to show you the front yet because it's pretty wild. This is definitely by far probably the best roof of any Kombi that we've had here. And the funny part is this roof was stripped back to bare and it wasn't primed, so it had heavy surface rust, not heavy, like probably medium surface rust over the whole roof. It was stored inside a shed before it came out here, but still it's been out in the elements for a while here, and it hasn't harmed anything because the blaster, Dave at Lockyer Blasting, did an awesome job where he softened up the mix that he sprays with and shoot it across on an angle, and now you see a roof that is more or less better than brand new. I thought I might have some rusty sections I've got to deal with in the middle where I've got to put rust, you know, rust killer on and all that sort of stuff, but no, he's got it, the roof, like as clean as anything. So that's fantastic. So like awesome bit of stuff along here, excellent seals. So the first bit we see here, a little repair needed here, but certainly not the whole step. And then we come along, floor is pretty good. I asked Dave not to worry about underneath that. It's quite a bit of work removing the rest of that soundproofing, which we will do, but it didn't need to be blasted under there. So we'll come around the back and inspect this. So yep, absolutely perfect engine lid, perfect tailgate, absolutely stunning gutters. You just do not see them this clean very often. Tiny bit of rust there and a little bit underneath where the rubber goes, that's standard. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of dentage here. It looks like it has had a bit of a few little bingles there in this corner. Probably quite a common spot for people to reverse, especially in a panel van. They weren't great in, you know, the Kombi's only got small mirrors, and yeah, in a van there's not much glass area, so yeah, you can see this being a spot where it's quite risky when reversing. And obviously something's gone on here where they've pulled out a bit of it, but yeah, anyway, neither here nor there. This here is all factory paint. The paint is very thin on the car, which is awesome, because just about every other car we get here has been painted 3 or 4 times, you know. So there is a little bit through here, so we're going to unpick this channel here. The channel itself is good, but just so you can just see through there a little bit of daylight happening there. Floor's all good inside here, all the sides pretty good. So we're going to hand sand this off. That's no problem. I'm about to epoxy this now. So we're going to look at here. The tracks and the sill is bloody perfect. Dog legs really good. And then we get to here, and this step has been definitely patched before. It looks like they've even welded an inner there in the past or something. So what we do is normally we cut out the exterior. That's the easy part, and then have a look at the inside and see what it needs doing, whether we've got to replace the whole thing or just weld a patch in it or whatever. So this will only need a patch on the outside if we've got the inside all sorted, and a little L piece in here. But the front nose, we knew it from the start. The windscreen was out, and it's obvious why they took everything out and whatever to start the restoration, because this area around here is by far the worst part of the car. Absolutely. The rest of the car is so good, and it's just a pity that one dodgy windscreen, you know, someone's put a screen in here and not done it properly, and water's gotten in over time, and that's all it takes. That's why I pay a professional to come around and do all my glass here to stop the leaks. Yeah, because he uses mastic between the glass and the rubber, and between the rubber and the body, and with the shape of the seal and all this, the V-dubs have the design to sort of push in and lock itself in. So the mastic he puts there is just to stop any water from getting between any layer at all, and yeah, it's well worth it. So a lot of people don't do that, and I've seen the results of it. So just because you've got a windscreen guy that does windscreens for a living doesn't mean he's doesn't mean he knows his old cars, because putting new screens in is completely different. They urethane them in. Don't get urethane and mastic mixed up. They urethane them in, and they don't have all this shaped seal and the tapered sort of part where it's designed to push in, you know. So, but you need to have that sealer around it, the mastic. So and then we look at this. No, it wasn't involved in some sort of mafia drug deal, or it got peppered with bullets on the way past. It's just these are the old school drill in dent pullers. We've got the seam rust where you're overlapping against the inner frame. The bottom has been done before, pretty chunkily, but you know, at least it was welded in. No chicken wire there, but still, this sort of thing isn't ideal. Middle's probably the best part, but we've got some good rustage there in the headlight buckets, and definitely a nasty sort of split along here. So, oh, pardon me. So what we've done is ordered a full front end. So I think it's a Wolfsburg West low light front end. And it comes, well, it goes from right at the bottom up to about here. They're not cheap, but it should be worth it. So, because you would spend way too many hours trying to get this good again. That's the moral of the story. We always try and add it up, repair versus replace, and most of the time it's repaired, but sometimes you got to go, well, there's too much time would be needed to, you could, but too much time needed. And this panel here, it's a short piece that runs along here. That panel alone is, you know, $400. So it was like, well, spend an extra grand and get the whole front end. So yeah, so another thing that happened during the restoration, the start of the restoration. I've got all this towed up, wrapped up. You can see how much sand gets in everything. Two things, a bit of boo-boos that they did is they couldn't get one of the doors off, so they decided to cut through the hinge instead, like just cut. And these hinges don't bolt onto the doors, they're welded onto the doors, so it's a major pain. It's a real shame they did that. We have got another set of doors there from another car, but they are a different model door, so we've got mods to do on that. And the worst part is, instead of unplugging everything on the dash, they just got the main wiring loom. And I've got to tell you, in 35 years of ownership of Volkswagens, this is the most original, untouched, cleanest loom I've seen in my life. This is why it's where the shame is. And the fact that instead of unplugging all the gauges and everything and then just pulling the dash out that way, just cutting them all is just make you cry. So what we're going to do, because it doesn't warrant replacing the whole loom on the car, like all the wires at the back and everything's the original colour, so nice to work with. So everything's sort of easy to trace, and you know where it all goes once you've got a wiring diagram, because nothing has been altered. So we're actually going to solder each wire that's been cut, because the opposing wire is still there hanging off the back of the dash. We're going to just do a wire at a time and solder them all up, shrink wrap it, and just join it up again, because it just does not warrant, because the wires are in such great condition and original, even more rare. We figure that a bit of time spent doing that is going to be the best idea, because replacing the full loom is a big job, and it's not necessary. So everything's still where it should be and intact, and it's just been cut in one place. So it should be quite actually easy to join it up again. So yeah, we've got a bit of action in the bottom of that sliding door, which is surprising, but yeah, not much. So we'll probably do a little patch here and a patch over there, but basically doors in good condition. Yeah, can't get over that roof, it's so good. The roof is like full on rust. So and I just said to Dave, I said, don't worry too much, just get all the hard stuff. Don't worry about all the sides there, which have had this sort of stuff on, which is quite difficult to get off. I said it'll be getting more stuff again on there, so we'll just paint it so that it's sealed and protected and clean, and then it can have some fresh soundproofing on, because driving a van around, especially without the divider panel there, it's very echoey inside, so you definitely want to have it. If you're not having it lined, you definitely want at least some soundproofing on it. So not sure about the back yet, whether they go rock and roll bed. Not sure whether it's going to be used as a work vehicle, promotion vehicle, or just having a day off, going to jump in it, go and park up somewhere and just enjoy a bit of Kombi life. So that's what it's about. So yeah, the lady owns a Beetle as well, but this is the one that she really wants to get happening. So we're going to pop the motor out. We'll just clean all that up, pop it out, paint everything in there, and then put it back. So we don't know if the motor runs, so we're going to do I think everything looks like it's actually been maintained there, so we'll do a bit of a video talking about that. So oh yeah, and there's like in the back here, the only bit of rust in the whole floor is just a couple of spots there and one over there, although that looks more like a hole was for something that was bolted through. So Yeah, so the sandblaster was saying the glue from this stuff, that silver stuff up there must have been everywhere through here. And the paint came off really easy, but anywhere where there was glue like that, he said it would take an extra couple of hours to blast it to try and get it absolutely clean. And I said, don't worry about it, because you've got all the paint off. That's the main thing. And you've found any rust, if there is any, and you've blasted that off. So now we can just do a bit of manual wire wheeling, bit of acetone, whatever, to get that last little remnants of black glue off. Paint it all, and then it'll be covered anyway. So whether there's bamboo floors or artificial turf or carpet or whatever. So that's it. The old, you can just see the old stickers from the past, float space, and yeah, amazingly original. You can just tell how it's basically the factory primer and the old probably Dove blue or whatever it is, and that's it. It's never been repainted. But we're going for a total different scheme. We're not doing anything original. We're just going to go with what the owner wants. That's how it should be. Original colours are okay, but sometimes you just want something that's a bit more personalised, so that's cool. So yeah, that's the wrap up. I don't know what to call it. You know, let's just call it the naked van. And I'll contact the owner and see if I can get a name, and we'll go from there. So that's the naked van, looking quite naked at the moment, but we're gonna get her in the booth here, get it all sealed up where it needs to be. Well, everything bare in there, so I've got to pull all those panels out, etc. And yeah, so I've got a bit of work to do this afternoon, Friday afternoon, but we're keen to get all this sealed up. So it's a beautiful day, luckily. There's you know, low humidity, so there's no problems with moisture sort of flash rusting or anything like that on the car. So, but we will be doing it today. Yeah, so that's all for now. Now's the time for the cleanup, which takes quite a while, vacuuming and air blasting every last bit of sand out of it. So Dave gives it an initial blast with like 500 psi and gets rid of 90% of it. It's that last 10% you got to get off before epoxy. So, okay, I've done enough talking. It's time I get some working done, and talk to you later.